But anyway, let's go in. Yesterday was the 224th, I believe, day. Is that true? Is that true? 224th, I believe, day of protests in the city of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and the county of Pasquotank County, North Carolina. For those of you that don't know, the county has a higher amount of power than the city when it comes to the county sheriff department. Sheriffs are elected by the... not a lot of people know this, so I thought I'd throw this in here. Sheriffs are elected at the county level. And because they're elected at the county level, that means that they have more power than the city. So the city government basically can do nothing about the county government because the city is within the county. It's a lesser amount of power. And so the Pasquotank County Board of Commissioners could choose to enact their power and, place sanctions on the Sheriff's Department for murdering Andrew Brown Jr. They refused to do so. In fact, instead of putting any sanctions on the murderers who killed Andrew Brown Jr., shot him in the back of the head while he was escaping, they instead gave them a raise. That's right, they gave the hired assassins more money. Just a few months after Andrew Brown Jr. was executed, they authorized a raise, a salary increase to the entirety of the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department. So, not only are they not going to pretend to have any accountability, they're going to give them more money. And that's why I want to be very clear. I know a lot of times I kind of make fun of the fact that they wrote Black Lives Matter on the street. Is that better than nothing? Well, it depends how you classify better. It is literally, it's just they just drew on the street. But the city government is what did that. The city government of Elizabeth City drew Black Lives Matter on the street. They have no power over the county government, which includes the sheriff's department, but they wanted to try to do something. Now, I would say instead of raising property taxes on poor people that live in Elizabeth City, which is what they did very recently, they're also engulfed in scandals when it comes to their own police department and all that stuff, but that's a whole nother story. But I would say instead of raising property taxes, how about, I don't know, maybe do some progressive legislation for the people that live in the city of Elizabeth City. They refuse to do so. I think the city government's corrupt. A lot of people have been resigning, actually, from the city council, and that's very interesting. But again, I want to be very clear because I do talk about the distinction between the county and the city often in these videos, and there are not that many people, I guess, that understand the distinction. The county is where the sheriff is an elected, member of, that has very large amounts of power. The city has no power. The county board has power over the sheriff's department when it comes to the purse. They can dictate how much money they get. And so that's why I clarify that the Pasquotank County Board voted to increase the salaries of the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department murderers after killing Andrew Brown Jr. I think it's very important to understand how power works in this instance, right? Now, meanwhile, the city is drawing Black Lives Matter on the street. They're not properly paying the people who are doing it, by the way. There was a big scandal with that. The people that were actually drawing Black Lives Matter on the street were not being properly compensated. That's a huge scandal. But again, the Pasquotank County Board of Commissioners actually being in cahoots and paying the assassins, I think, is a bigger scandal. And that's what I want to focus on in this recap video. Because again, isn't it crazy? So Andrew Brown Jr. is murdered, executed, shot in the back of the head, right? The district attorney, right, says, quote, "We couldn't let him get away." Interesting. And then, after the hit goes through, the Board of Commissioners gives them a raise, gives them more money, a payout. Some would, possibly interpret that as a payout. So let me get the order of operations here. So, Andrew Brown Jr. is murdered. Andrew Womble, the district attorney, says couldn't let him get away. It was not possible. And then, after he was murdered, couldn't let him get away, the people that murdered him got some money in exchange. Isn't that interesting? To me, again, it sounds like they're paying off an assassin, and it sounds like they were in cahoots. It sounds like they were part of the problem and that they were all conspiring to kill Andrew. Because again, we can all admit killing someone is bad, right? Like, isn't it, like, shouldn't it be, like, a public relations nightmare to give more money to people who just killed someone? Like, if I were working, right, at McDonald's and then I killed someone who came in and wanted a Big Mac and I just jumped over the counter and pulled out, like, a gun and shot their head off, would the manager of McDonald's then want to give me paid vacation, and then, like, the corporate board of McDonald's, like, the franchise owners, then would all, like, wouldn't it be weird if they all gave me more money? Wouldn't that be weird? So, like again, like, think about this, though. With cops, people just think it's normalized. Oh, they kill people, they get more money. It's all, oh, it's government bureaucracy. But again, okay, I'm working at Wendy's. I shoot someone's head off. I pull out a chainsaw and I rip their body parts apart. And then I get paid vacation. And then the board gives me more money. What? Unheard of. But when you're a cop, it's commonplace. You get paid to kill people all the time. In fact, that's your job description. The role of police in the United States of America is to cull the population of undesirables. People that they feel like are troublemakers. They go in, kill them, come up with an excuse to justify the killing, and then later get their payout. And that's exactly what happened here. And this shit's fucked up, folks. This shit's fucked up. But again, we've been out here for 224 days, and yesterday we had all the seniors come out and we marched around downtown. We were really loud, and I love to see old people. I love we have this great relationship here, but I love to see the old folks come out and they're like they've got that energy. It's not every day. Like I could do this every day, but it's fun to see. The passion, because again, someone's got to care. Because if we don't care, then no one cares, and they can successfully brush this bullshit under the rug, just like national media has helped them do, just like local media has helped them do, because no one gives a fuck. At the end of the day, people can get gunned down all day, every day. No one gives a fuck. No one's going to do anything that puts any change. No one's going to try to enact any change. People are going to maybe pretend to try for a couple months and then give up because it's too exhausting to be an activist and then go back to their real jobs. Because that's how this economy works. It drains you of all energy at all times. It makes you have no energy whatsoever left over to do things that would actually better the society that we live in. That's how our society is manufactured. We have to try to live outside of those boxes and boundaries. And so that's why I advocate, doing all this stuff. So again, 224 days, that's a lot. And I'm proud to be a part, for sure.